Hey, guys, here is your friend Elephant. Today I'll recap a classic anime named KonoSuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. The anime starts with a question. If you can only take one thing to a different world, what will you take? Now, let's keep this question in mind and start today's journey. Our main protagonist is named Kazuma. A few months ago on his way home, he saw a girl about to get into a car accident. He soon rushed up and pushed her away, but he died. Unexpectedly, he came to a strange space and a woman showed up in front of him. She turns out to be a goddess named Aqua who is responsible for guiding the dead young man. Aqua revealed that the girl Kazuma saved was not in danger of death. It was just a tractor that drove towards her, and Kazuma himself wasn't crushed. He died from fear. The truth shamed Kazuma. There were two choices for Kazuma. He could either let the soul go directly to heaven or be reborn to venture into the fantasy world. Aqua highly recommended he choose the fantasy world and Kazuma eventually agreed to it. The good thing was that Kazuma could take one thing with him to the fantasy world, and since Aqua kept laughing at how Kazuma died, Kazuma got provoked and pointed his finger at Aqua. As the new goddess of guidance appeared, Aqua had no choice but to go to the fantasy world with Kazuma. Although Aqua is extremely reluctant but can only accept the fact that before they defeat the Demon King, she is unable to go back. The first thing they do is to go to the Novice Village's Adventurers Guild to register their identities. When testing their abilities, Kazuma finds that his abilities are particularly low in attributes, except for his intelligence and luck. Aqua, on the other hand, has low intelligence and luck while all other attributes of her are extremely high. Since Aqua is good at using healing magic, she chooses to become an archpriest, while Kazuma can only be an ordinary adventurer. Their adventure life in this fantasy world starts here. To support themselves, they'll do any jobs to make money, but Kazuma then realizes that their mission is to defeat the Demon King in this world, or they'll be trapped here forever. So they decide to take tasks in Adventurers Guild, and their first task is to kill 5 giant frogs. Since Kazuma has no combat experience, he gets chased around by the giant frog. Aqua is no better than Kazuma and even gets swallowed by the giant frog. Fortunately, Kazuma takes this opportunity to kill the giant frog. Aqua is not convinced and tries to attack another giant frog, but unfortunately she is good at healing magic and has low attack power, so she once again gets swallowed by a frog. Kazuma takes the chance and kills another giant frog. In the evening, they go back to the Novice Village. After a busy day of fighting, they only killed 2 giant frogs, which brings them no more money than their other jobs bring, so they decide to recruit teammates. Otherwise, they can hardly support themselves with their fighting power, let alone crusade against the Demon King. Aqua thinks her goddess identity will surely attract many adventurers. However, only a dull-headed girl comes over a few days later. The girl is named Megumin, who claims herself to be an archwizard and can use supreme magic. Afterward, Kazuma takes Megumin with him to kill the giant frogs. Because the top-level magic takes a long time to cast, Aqua takes the lead to attack the giant frog to buy time for Megumin. As magic elements of all colors begin to converge in the sky, the powerful magic falls from the sky, shattering the giant frog in an instant. As Kazuma gets excited about it, he finds Megumin falling to the ground. It turns out that every time she casts this magic, it will consume all of Megumin's magic power, so she can only cast this magic once a day, and this is the only magic she acquires. Seeing 2 giant frogs come out and swallow Aqua and Megumin into their mouths, Kazuma takes the opportunity to attack and kills 2 giant frogs. Although the battle is fierce, they finally complete it. When Kazuma back to the Novice Village after getting rewards, he gets promoted to level 4. In this world, adventurers will obtain some skill points every time they upgrade. As Kazuma is still thinking about what skills to learn, a female knight named Darkness shows up and wants to join his team. Such a beautiful knight's joining request makes Kazuma's heart beat fast, but soon he realizes that Darkness is a masochist. She saw Megumin and Aqua getting all slimy from the giant frog not long ago and thought this was some kind of perverted adventure team, which is why she wanted to join. What's worse, Darkness never strives back during the fight, because as a perverted masochist, she enjoys the feeling of being beaten. Since Kazuma already has 2 strange teammates, he rejects Darkness to join, but Darkness shows an expression of enjoyment. It turns out that she knew at first she would be rejected and she is here to enjoy the feeling of being rejected. Just then, Darkness's best friend, a thief, shows up. She offers to teach her thief skills to Kazuma in exchange for a drink. Kazuma agrees delightedly because he has been planning on acquiring some adventure skills since he upgraded to level 4. The skill she's gonna teach is named Steal, with which the acquirer can randomly steal a valuable item from the enemy. The thief guides Kazuma to spend the skills points on his adventurer card acquiring this skill. In a flash, as the genes in his body reorganize, he masters the skill. Kazuma then casts the steel magic on the thief, intending to steal her most valuable dagger. Unexpectedly, after a flash of white light, a piece of white panties appears in Kazuma's hand. The thief's face instantly gets flushed while Darkness becomes even more excited. I knew Kazuma is a perverted captain, Darkness thought to herself. To prove that he is not a pervert, Kazuma uses his steal skill once again on his teammate Megumin. As a result, a piece of black panties appears in Kazuma's hand. Even Megumin, a simple girl, wonders if Kazuma has turned into a pervert. Darkness is more determined to join this pervert team now. Knowing Darkness's occupation is night, Megumin decisively invites her to join in. Kazuma has no choice but to agree. Now, this strange adventure team is officially formed. Just then, outside the village flies a large group of cabbage. It is said in this world that when the cabbage is ripe, it will grow wings to keep from being eaten by humans. Adventurers can get abundant gold coins if they can hunt the cabbage. Darkness is the first to rush forward to hunt the cabbage to prove herself. However, every one of her attacks falls short. Luckily, she can at least defend herself against the cabbage's attacks. She doesn't flinch though her armor is shattered, because the more she gets attacked by the cabbage, the more she enjoys it. At the critical moment, Megumin unleashes her burst magic. The large-range attack knocks down those cabbages. Aqua, on the other hand, traps the cabbages with water magic while treating those injured adventurers with healing magic. Kazuma casts the steal skill he just acquired to sneak up on a lot of cabbages. Darkness buys herself a brand new suit of armor with the money from the sale of cabbages while Megumin gets a new wand. Aqua gets least prize because she caught no cabbages out of her bad luck while Kazuma gains 1 million with his best luck. Aqua thought she could gain a lot of money by hunting the cabbages, so she spent all her savings and even owed a large debt. She then turns to Kazuma. As Kazuma doesn't want to lend her money, Aqua threats him by revealing his perverted behavior of peeping at girls at midnight. To shut Aqua up, Kazuma can only agree to help her. Kazuma gets a new outfit and is ready to take on tasks with his team, but finds the tasks either too easy or too difficult. It turns out that the Demon King's minions have been wandering around outside the village, so other monsters nearby are hiding. Therefore, they can only take a break. Megumin must cast the burst magic every day to be satisfied, so Kazuma will accompany Megumin to cast her magic in front of an abandoned castle outside the village, and take her back to the village as she gets exhausted. A year goes by like this. Meanwhile, the Demon King's man, a headless knight, appears outside the village. The abandoned castle which Megumin goes to attack every day turns out to be the headless knight's residence, and he can no longer stand the explosions in front of his place. At first, the headless knight only intends to warn Megumin to stop bombing his home, but Megumin ignores him and keeps doing it. As a result, the headless releases the curse magic but gets stalled by Darkness. The cursed one will die in 7 days, but Darkness enjoys the feeling of being cursed and even dreams of being taken to the castle and getting abused. The headless knight is freaked out by such a masochist, so he instantly rushes back to the castle, leaving a warning that he will destroy the village if Megumin ever casts burst magic near his castle again. The good thing is that Aqua is good at healing spells and helps Darkness lift the curse. To pay off the debts, Aqua asks her teammates to take on tasks with her to earn money. She takes on the task of purifying the nearby river. As the goddess of water, Aqua can purify the water as long as she touches it, but there are crocodiles wandering in the river, so Kazuma borrows an iron cage to put Aqua in and drops it into the river. As soon as Aqua enters the water, she gets attacked by a large number of crocodiles. Though she completes the task, she is too scared to get out of the cage. Kazuma can only take the cage back to the village. Just then a man rushes out and breaks open the cage. It turns out that this man is also a transmigrationer who was guided by Aqua to this fantasy world. He admires Aqua very much, so when he hears about Aqua's tough life, he challenges Kazuma to take Aqua away if he wins. Kazuma launches a sneak attack and takes the opportunity to use his steal skill to steal the man's weapon and soon wins the challenge. They then leave the man and return to the Adventurers Guild. The man chases after him, trying to get his weapon back, but only to have it sold by Kazuma. Meanwhile, the headless knight shows up outside the village again. It turns out that Megumin still sneaks to cast the burst magic in front of the castle every day, though she was warned last time. The headless knight is so pissed off and decides to destroy the novice village. Seeing that there is no way to resolve the conflict, Aqua uses purification magic to attack the headless knight, who turns out to be an undead. Therefore, her attack causes no damage to the headless knight except for making him uncomfortable. The headless knight then summons an army to attack Aqua. At this moment, Kazuma thinks of a way. He asks Aqua to run with the army toward the headless knight and then asks Megumin to cast the burst magic to bombard the group of enemies. The army gets wiped out instantly. However, these attacks still can't cause damage to the headless knight. Darkness then steps forward to be a strong shield, though she can't attack. Kazuma takes the opportunity to release the water magic he just acquired but gets dodged easily by the headless knight. But Kazuma also finds out that the Headless Knight may be afraid of water because he didn't dodge the previous attacks but the attack of water. So he asks the magicians in the novice village to attack the Headless Knight with water magic. At the critical moment, Aqua casts the strongest water spell, which directly summons a huge flood to attack the Headless Knight, while Kazuma takes the opportunity to steal the knight's head. As the Headless Knight has lost his fighting power, Aqua uses the purification magic, defeating the Headless Knight completely. Kazuma's team has a great victory and gets rewarded with 300 million gold coins. However, because Aqua's powerful water magic caused a heavy loss to the city, they'll have to compensate 340 million gold coins. Their team now owes 40 million instead. Owing so much money, the squad has to take on more tasks to make money. After screening, Kazuma takes the task of crusading snow elves. These snow elves have little offensive power. It is said that once a snow elf is killed, the spring will come a day earlier. Besides, 100,000 gold coins are rewarded for killing one. During the fight, Kazuma is curious why no one takes such a simple task. To accelerate the speed of the kill, Megumin uses the powerful burst magic but accidentally draws out the snow elf's master, the General of Winter. General of Winter is too strong to be defeated, and that's why nobody dares to take on the task. At the critical moment, Aqua remembers that General Winter is very forgiving. As long as they plead for forgiveness sincerely and admit their mistakes, General Winter will definitely let them go. However, Masochist Darkness refuses to admit defeat because she wants to be abused in the fight with General Winter. Seeing Darkness is about to be killed, Kazuma saves her, but he got killed by the General of Winter. Kazuma's soul once again comes to the space where a new goddess appears in front of him. Since Kazuma has already died in the fantasy world, he has to reincarnate this time. After all this time, Kazuma has already concluded a deep friendship with his 3 teammates, and he is really worried about leaving them alone in the other world. Just as tears flood his eye, he hears the voice of Aqua. It turns out that Aqua, who is good at healing spells, uses the resurrection magic to bring Kazuma back to life. His teammates are very happy to see Kazuma again, though their task of the snow elves gets declared a failure. After so many battles, Kazuma finds that the combat power in their team is too unbalanced and they lack a major output skill. So Kazuma decides to learn the magic from the city's witch, Wiz, that can absorb the enemy's physical and magical power. Though the undead, Wiz is a kind girl, but Aqua doesn't really like Wiz because of her race. When Wiz is teaching Kazuma, Aqua secretly attacks Wiz, causing Wiz to be weak. Just then, someone comes to ask Wiz to help expel the evil spirits in their castle. Since Wiz is weak now, Kazuma's team takes on the task. At night, they move into the castle where Aqua finds her treasured wine is drank by the evil spirits. She gets so angry and begins to expel the evil spirits. As a goddess with top healing magic, Aqua was born to be the nemesis of the evil spirits. After a night of working, they finally disperse the evil spirits in the castle. Because they helped expel the evil spirit, the owner of the castle decides to let Kazuma's team spend the winter in the castle. Since they don't have to worry about food and clothing, Kazuma wanders around the city and overhears that there is a new store run by a succubus in the city, where customers only need to give some of their energy in exchange for creating a dream world they want. As a teenager, what Kazuma wants is to be able to sleep with a beauty in the dream world. After signing the contract, Kazuma returns to the castle expectantly. When he thinks of what's gonna happen in the dream, Kazuma gets too excited to sleep, so he decides to take a bath to relieve his emotions. At this moment, Darkness appears outside the door. She doesn't know that Kazuma is here taking a bath and gets in too. Since Kazuma has closed his eyes, he thinks he is in an erotic dream now. He then begins to forcefully command Darkness to serve him. Though feeling weird about Kazuma's behavior, Darkness still obediently follows his order as she is a masochist. Just then, there come the shrieks of Aqua and Megumin. It turns out that they catch the succubus who sneaks in late at night to create the dream for the guest. When Kazuma goes out to check, he realizes that he was not dreaming at all. But since the succubus came for him, Kazuma can't allow her to be attacked by Aqua, and stands in front of the succubus. At that moment, Darkness also shows up, and she thinks Kazuma was controlled by the succubus in the bat. Eventually, the girls work together to knock Kazuma down, and the succubus takes the opportunity to escape. Afterwards, everyone thinks Kazuma was controlled, though this is what Kazuma wanted. At least he keeps his reputation. But from this day onwards, Darkness stares at Kazuma differently. She seems to like how Kazuma commanded her that day. Peaceful days do not last long. This day outside the city appears a giant destroyer, which is said to be a violent ancient weapon. Wherever it passes through, the area will be destroyed. To save the city, the Adventurers Guild gathers all the adventurers in the city. Kazuma's team also participates in this battle. Although darkness has perverted desires, she overcomes her desires at the moment of crisis and blocks the gate with her body, vowing to protect the people behind her even at the cost of death. Aqua also releases the strongest purification magic and lifts Destroyer's protective boundary. Megumin teams up with the city's witch, Wiz, to release the most powerful burst magic and crushes Destroyer in one fell swoop. But things don't end here. Destroyer sets into self-destruct mode. If it explodes, the city will be completely destroyed. Darkness has decided to protect the people and rushes to the Destroyer, which touches other adventurers. They decide to work together to find the core of Destroyer, the Corona Stone, to stop its explosion. They soon find the core inside Destroyer, next to a corpse and a book in which the history of this Destroyer was recorded. It turns out that a crazy scientist created this weapon but then couldn't control it, leaving the Destroyer to destroy cities, and he got trapped here to death. Wiz has run out of her magic power, so she unleashes the skill of absorbing to absorb Kazuma's magic power, and finally releases the magic to transfer the Corona Stone out of Destroyer, successfully stops its self-destruction. Just when everyone thinks they are saved, the Destroyer starts to heat up, and if not stopped, the entire city would be burned to ashes. Kazuma wants Megumin to cast the burst magic to destroy the Destroyer, but she has run out of her magic power. At this critical moment, Kazuma absorbs Aqua's magic power and transfers it to Megumin. By this way, Megumin casts the strongest burst magic ever and ruined the Destroyer completely. Afterward, a knight was sent to Kazuma from a distant kingdom. Kazuma thinks it is because he defeated the Destroyer and is about to get rewarded, but to be told that he has committed treason. It turns out that the Corona Stone happened to drop on the landlord's territory and ruined his castle, so the knight was sent to arrest him. Kazuma looks helpless. It seemed that he has got as bad luck as Aqua does. So what will Kazuma encounter after entering the kingdom, and how will he handle with the ridiculous troubles caused by his teammates? Let's look forward to next season. This brings the end of the first season of KonoSuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. Do you remember the question I mentioned at the beginning? If you can only take one thing to the other world, what will you take with you? Please leave your answers below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Each of your support means a lot to me. See you in my next video. Bye!